I love this.
It's like drinking through a fire hose. You're like, wow, I come in and I'm like, this is what we're gonna do.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, two of Hollywood's most influential stars, are embroiled in a dramatic $400 million legal battle involving director Justin Baldoni.
Everything's not perfect and it's not done, and what if we're going to change things? I was like,
we want it to go
I literally
well.
brought the movie with me on the airplane.
The lawsuit stems from intense conflicts during the making of the film It Ends With Us, based on Colleen Hoover's popular novel. The disagreements spiraled out of control, turning personal and professional, and have now escalated into a major legal showdown that threatens their reputations and careers.
On evidence, it's not going to be just a lawsuit. It's going to be the kind of lawsuit that is full, and how she bullied her way through the process to take over the movie and used her PR people.
Blake Lively is suing Justin Baldoni for $250 million, accusing him and his production company, Wayfarer Studios, of misconduct, inappropriate behavior, and orchestrating a smear campaign to ruin her reputation.
Blake Lively will be sued, and we're carefully considering other people that will be sued also. Ryan Reynolds.
Baldoni strongly denies these claims and countersues, alleging that Lively is using false accusations strategically as a power move to gain control over the It Ends With Us franchise, effectively trying to push him out and seize creative authority.
Don't give it to him.
Score.
Just keep restraint.
Yeah,
Score.
do a little bit of restraint.
Ryan, come on back. Or just cross. No, your name, sorry. Ponytail lady.
And then
Cross this way. Cross this way. Take your date and cross this way.
The controversy ignited when Blake Lively promoted It Ends With Us, a deeply emotional and dark story about domestic violence, as if it were a lighthearted, feel-good film. Her cheerful marketing, focused on fashion, hair care, and her alcohol brand, triggered widespread backlash. Fans were furious, accusing her of being insensitive and tone-deaf, as they felt she trivialized the serious subject matter, turning what should have been a powerful, sobering narrative into a commercialized girls' night out.
I read the book. I couldn't even finish it. I was just crying as I was reading it.
You were crying.
I was in tears. I was sitting next to my wife, who's here, by the way. Hi, baby. That's right, because what is a typical abuser or a typical victim? I think that there is no typical anything, I think.
The conflict reached a boiling point after the New York Times published a damaging article against Justin Baldoni, heavily influenced by confidential documents that Blake Lively allegedly leaked. This devastating report portrayed Baldoni as the villain, leading to catastrophic consequences for him. He lost his agent at WME, was dropped from his popular podcast, and saw major film deals evaporate overnight.
Haven't I seen you before?
Well, mostly because I've never required brain surgery.
So you just broke into my building?
I have a really nice view.
I do.
His entire Hollywood career and reputation suffered severe, possibly irreversible damage, all because of Lively's allegations. Blake Lively allegedly took unauthorized control over critical aspects of the production of It Ends With Us, far beyond her original role as an actress and nominal executive producer.
I was both sexy and disturbing.
Okay, just shocked me. You can say
I
anything.
want to have sex with you.
She openly admitted on podcasts and in interviews to rewriting key scenes, altering the script significantly to suit her own vision, all without consulting director Justin Baldoni or the film studio. Her most controversial move involved scrapping the film's already purchased wardrobe, choosing instead to bring in her own stylist, which ballooned the production costs by an additional $500,000.
But it's just because I really I find that fashion is storytelling. It's a way.
This decision created massive internal friction, as it completely disregarded existing contracts and budgetary plans. Additionally, Lively sidelined seasoned professionals who had been hired for the film, replacing them with her own personal choices, often people she had previously worked with or admired, even if they lacked relevant experience. Notably, she hired an editor whose only significant credit was a Taylor Swift music video, placing him in charge of editing a major Hollywood production despite having never edited a full-length film. This raised serious concerns about her judgment and led many in the industry to question her ability to handle such high-stakes creative decisions. The most audacious move, however, was when Lively took a rough cut of the unreleased movie without permission and flew it to Colleen Hoover's Book Bonanza, a large fan event. By screening unfinished footage publicly, she risked the film being leaked online, potentially jeopardizing distribution deals, future box office success, and causing significant financial and reputational damage. This wasn't just seen as careless, it was interpreted by Baldoni's team and the studio as a deliberate, calculated power move, an attempt by Lively to assert dominance and control over the entire production, bypassing all established protocols. In retaliation against Blake Lively's damaging lawsuit, Justin Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Fredman, took the extraordinary step of publicly releasing a comprehensive dossier of explosive evidence, designed to dismantle Lively's narrative piece by piece. Fredman launched an entire website dedicated to showcasing meticulous timelines, revealing text message exchanges, confidential emails, video footage, and legal documents. Collectively, this evidence painted a damning portrait of Lively, suggesting she systematically weaponized misconduct allegations as a powerful negotiating tool. Fredman argued that Lively consistently escalated her accusations against Baldoni and Wayfarer Studios every time her creative or personal demands were denied or challenged. According to Fredman's timeline, Lively's behavior followed a calculated pattern. Each refusal from Baldoni or his team triggered fresh, increasingly severe accusations of inappropriate conduct. These allegations were not raised to seek justice, Fredman claims, but instead to exert control and manipulate the dynamics of the film's production. He further provided proof that Lively herself admitted, on record, that any alleged misconduct stopped completely once filming resumed in early 2024. Yet, despite this admission, she continued to blame Baldoni for unrelated public backlash she faced due to her own controversial and tone-deaf marketing decisions. Fredman's documents highlighted that Lively's accusations intensified, particularly after she experienced intense public criticism for mishandling the film's sensitive subject matter during promotion. The evidence implied that she deliberately turned the narrative against Baldoni at that point, portraying herself as the victim of his alleged sabotage to distract from her own PR missteps. This portrayal was bolstered by statements from co-producers and crew members who described Lively's behind-the-scenes maneuvering as a power grab, orchestrated to seize control of the film rights and production from Baldoni's smaller, independent studio. Fredman's bold move in releasing such extensive evidence publicly marked a turning point in the legal battle. His intention was clear: to prove beyond doubt that Lively's accusations were not just baseless, but deliberately fabricated and strategically deployed. This evidence severely undermined Lively's credibility, suggesting her lawsuit was less about addressing genuine grievances and more about leveraging public sympathy to achieve absolute creative dominance, ultimately sidelining Baldoni and anyone who stood in her way. A critical turning point occurred in a federal courtroom when Blake Lively's legal team aggressively pursued a gag order aimed at silencing Justin Baldoni's attorney, Brian Fredman, whose public release of evidence had been devastating to her reputation. Lively's lawyers argued passionately before the judge, insisting that Fredman's continuous sharing of damaging documents, timelines, and video proof constituted a calculated public smear campaign. They accused him of intentionally dragging the case through the court of public opinion to unfairly sway public perception and prejudice potential jurors against Lively before the trial even began. The courtroom tension was palpable, with both sides locked in a fierce verbal battle. Lively's team pleaded for immediate judicial intervention, emphasizing the damage already done by Fredman's relentless public disclosures. They claimed these actions went beyond standard legal strategy and were instead malicious attempts to tarnish Lively's credibility and sabotage her Hollywood career. In response, Fredman fired back, arguing that it was Lively herself who had initiated the public battle by allegedly leaking confidential documents to the New York Times, resulting in irreparable damage to Baldoni's career and reputation. After carefully considering arguments from both sides, the federal judge issued a decisive ruling, firmly denying Lively's request for the gag order. The judge cited critical principles of freedom of speech, transparency in federal court proceedings, and the high bar required for gag orders in such high-profile cases. He also highlighted that while attorneys must follow ethical conduct rules, they have a right, and sometimes a duty, to respond publicly, especially when defending their clients from serious allegations already played out in public forums. This denial was a crushing blow to Lively, marking a major strategic defeat. It meant that Fredman was free to continue publicly sharing evidence, further undermining her credibility. The court's refusal to silence Baldoni's attorney implied that the evidence he provided was not only credible but relevant enough to be aired publicly. This decision significantly weakened Lively's position, potentially swaying public opinion and influencing the eventual trial's outcome. The ruling reinforced that Lively would not easily control the narrative of this increasingly ugly Hollywood legal battle. In another major setback for Blake Lively, she attempted to avoid being questioned directly by Justin Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Fredman, during her legal deposition. Through her attorney, she argued that she felt deeply uncomfortable and intimidated facing questions from Fredman, who she claimed had defamed her publicly. She insisted that another attorney should conduct the deposition instead. However, the judge swiftly rejected her demands, reminding her firmly that in federal court, defendants do not get to choose who questions them. The judge emphasized that if Lively intended to pursue her claims seriously, she had no choice but to face Fredman's tough questioning. No exceptions allowed. This decision signaled yet another blow to Lively's legal strategy, leaving her increasingly vulnerable. According to explosive court filings, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds allegedly attempted to pressure Justin Baldoni and his production company, Wayfarer Studios, into publicly issuing an apology statement for Lively's own disastrous PR mistakes. After facing intense backlash for insensitively marketing It Ends With Us, Lively reportedly drafted a statement admitting the film had a troubled production, taking responsibility for causing upset to fans. Shockingly, this statement was not meant to come from her, but from Baldoni's team, effectively forcing them to absorb the blame for her missteps. Baldoni's team firmly refused to release the apology, which only intensified the feud. These revelations severely damaged Lively's credibility, showcasing her willingness to manipulate the narrative to escape accountability. In a significant development, the federal judge indicated the trial date for Blake Lively, and Justin Baldoni's explosive lawsuit might be fast-tracked, moving it up from March 2026 to a much earlier date if tensions continue escalating. This signals that the court views the case's growing volatility as something needing swift resolution. For Lively, whose legal strategies have consistently failed, the prospect of an expedited trial poses serious risks. Damaging evidence continues piling up against her, and with each failed courtroom tactic, her credibility weakens. As the situation intensifies, the potential fallout grows more severe, leaving her Hollywood reputation and future career hanging by a thread.